Good morning, viewer. Welcome to our first active viewers. Here is the breaking news from Washington. Secretary of State Antony Blinken said Sunday that China must cooperate with further investigation from the United States and the World Health Organization into the origins of COVID-19, with the world now insisting that Beijing do so. In an interview with Face the Nation, Blinken said the main purpose of the examinations is to ensure proper policies and mechanisms can be put in place to prevent another pandemic from happening again, to mitigate another outbreak. China has to cooperate with that. The Secretary of State told Face the Nation transparency, access for international experts, information sharing, that has to happen. And again, I think you are seeing countries come together to insist on that. While President Biden ordered last month the US intelligence community to redouble efforts to investigate the origins of COVID-19, the group of 7 leaders are also calling for a so-called phase 2 study from the World Health Organization into how the pandemic started, Blinken said. While the WHO issued a study in March on COVID-19's origins and found it is extremely unlikely the virus leaked from a lab in Wuhan, China, the Biden administration has raised concern about the methodology and process for the examination as well as China's involvement. Coming out of this, we need a couple of things, Blinken said. We need to understand what happened. We need to get to the bottom of it. And we are working on the through the who's, we are also working on that ourselves. Mr. Biden and his fellow G7 leaders meet in Cornwall, England this weekend for the G7 summit, which concluded Sunday in a communique issued by the group. The nations pledged to commit to removing forced labor from global supply chains, fight ransomware, and take actions to combat corruption. The US and its allies also called on China to respect the high degree of autonomy for Hong Kong and human rights and fundamental freedoms, especially in relation to Xinjiang, and reiterate their promise to donate 1 billion coronavirus vaccines for poorer nation. Blinken called this G7 summit the most consequential one is participated in, and said Mr. Biden united member countries in dealing with the challenges posed by China. It is complicated relationship for virtually all of the G7 countries. It is in some aspects adversarial, in other aspects competitive, and in other aspects cooperative, he said. But the common denominator, I think that is where these countries are coming together, is we need to be able to deal with China in all of those areas, coming from a position of strength and coming from a united position. Following the G7, Mr. Biden will travel to Brussels for a NATO summit and US-European Union summit, followed by a highly anticipated meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin on Wednesday in Geneva, Switzerland. Blinken said that Mr. Biden's summit with the Russian president will not be a light switched moment in terms of result, but instead a chance to tell President Putin directly that we seek a more predictable, stable relationship. If we are able to do that, there are areas where it is in our mutual interest to cooperate. But if Russia continues to take reckless and aggressive actions, we will respond forcefully, as we have already done. When it comes to election interference, when it comes to the SolarWinds cyber attacks, when it comes to the attempt to poison and kill Mr. Navalny, Blinken said, referencing Russian opposition leader Alexei Navalny, this is beginning of testing that proposition, and Russia will have to decide by the action which direction it wants to go in. Beyond the report, for TV USA.